In this video, we are going to cover a mech who acted as a frontline machine for the armed forces of the Federated Suns for centuries. A popular mech among those who fight for House Davion, and one which is criminally overlooked otherwise, today we are going to talk about a design which only just appeared prior to the Succession Wars. Battlemechs. Enforcer. A medium mech weighing in at 50 tons, the Enforcer was in many ways an accident. Designed by Battlemechs, the Enforcer never saw production under the Star League, and was based on detailed schematics for a mech which had been planned. This design originally carried its signature autocannon, something which attracted its Federated Sun finders to the unit, but it also carried twin medium lasers in one arm. This would later see alterations after schematics were altered to better suit what the Federated Suns wanted in this new potential frontline machine. Production would begin officially in 2777, and the Enforcer was born, and just in time for the end of the Star League and the beginning of the Succession Wars. Renowned as a trooper-class mech and eventually as a brutal city-fighting combatant due to its mobility in this environment, the Enforcer saw broad use by the AFFS, and even at one point was considered to be the next replacement for the Centurion, should that mech not have sorted out its production issues in the early 31st century. Eventually, the Enforcer design would migrate to the Lyran Commonwealth with the formation of the Federated Commonwealth, allowing it to flourish in both halves of this new state, and unfortunately would become a combatant on both sides of the horrific breakup of the Federated Commonwealth itself. The primary model of the ENF series built during the Succession Wars was the ENF-4R. This design would come fitted with a Nissan 200 standard engine, giving it a top speed of 64.8 km per hour, or 6 movement points in the tabletop game. The Enforcer would also be given a jump capability of 120 meters, or 4 movement points in the tabletop game. In terms of mobility, the ENF moves at the average speed of most trooper mediums, or the average speed of most heavy mech forces. This allows it to achieve strategic relevance in this respect. For tactics, the ENF is not fast for a medium, but this is offset somewhat by its jump jets, which also assist it with being a superb urban warfare mech. For heat sinks, the ENF series is served well by 2 additional tons of heat sinks, giving it a sinking capacity of 12. This means the Enforcer can walk and fire both of its primary weapons without overheating. It can be prone to overheating should it be consistently using its jump jets, but it's worth noting that it can jump full distance while firing both of its primary weapons and still not actually fully overheat to the point where it receives negative modifiers. For offensive systems, the Enforcer is well served by 2 primary weapons of different types. Namely, it comes with 1 Federated autocannon, which is classified as an AC-10, and comes with a Chiscomp 43 special large laser. To attempt to add backup, it also has a Chiscomp 32 small laser. The AC-10 autocannon, however, is known in the lore for having reloading issues, and in-game it has a slight undervalue of ammunition, namely only 1 ton. Overall, this offers the Enforcer a consistent ability to land hard-hitting blows against armor, tearing into it with its autocannon for 10 points of damage a hit, or scorching away 8 damage a hit with its large laser. The Enforcer's weapons are mostly based in the arms, which also means with torso twisting it can aim behind it with 1 arm, pointing straight behind if necessary. The main drawback is also present though, which is if it loses both of its arms, which is very possible in an engagement of Battletech, it is left with only a small laser to defend itself at range. Finally, for physical defense, the ENF-4 is stocked with an impressive 9 tons of standard armor. This, however, is very much forward-focused, and the Enforcer is left with the unfortunate weakness of having nearly no rear armor, making it incredibly susceptible to rear attacks by light mechs or mobile mediums such as the Phoenix Hawk, which can yield serious consequences for the ENF, including destruction of the mech. The ENF-4 is a fantastic machine for keeping cool in battle while delivering dangerous attacks. It also has impressive frontal armor, allowing it to shirk off powerful attacks from mechs even heavier than itself. Able to maneuver well for its speed, it's an incredible asset in dense terrain or built-up areas such as cities, acting as a mobile wall. This isn't to say it doesn't have shortcomings. It effectively has no true backup weapons if its arms are disabled, and it has a relatively low volume of AC-10 ammunition. Finally, its impressive armor does have one weakness, in having dangerously low rear armor plating. All in all, both the AFFS and most players have determined its impressive strengths outweigh its weaknesses. There is a limited series for new variants of the Enforcer over time, at least as production models. We are going to be going over 2 of the canon alternatives to the original design in this video. The ANF-5D was the standard upgrade package for the Enforcer as it appears during the clan invasion around 3050. This upgrade is in many ways almost a step back for the Enforcer. It removes the 200 standard engine and replaces it with a Magna 250 extra light engine, increasing its speed, and it would install ferro fibrous armor, giving it the equivalent of 10 tons of armor instead of 9 tons despite only spending 9 tons. It uses some of the new armor as well to fix its rear armor issues. It has the benefit of an LBX AC autocannon, and increases the ammunition for it, as well as installing a case to protect it as well from ammunition explosions, making the mech more salvageable if this happens. What plagues this design outside of the XL engine making the ENF-5D more fragile due to instant death at the loss of the torso or increased chances of engine hits is that it only has 12 heat sinks. And one of its main weapons is an ER large laser, which generates 12 heat. It cannot fire one of its main weapons without suffering immediate heat problems or risking them. This essentially means that despite its increased speed, jumping abilities, and armor, its effective firepower, despite having new weapons, actually goes down, making the ENF-5D less combat effective in regards to cycling its weapons than its Succession War counterpart. Looking to the past to build a better machine for the future, the ENF-5R would begin to be produced during the Dark Age, and would be deployed in response to hostilities from the Draconis Combine. Its engine is once again a 200 engine, though this time it is a light engine, giving it some weight benefit but for less of an overall risk to the design. In addition to this, it retains the LB-10X autocannon, but it uses the new Davion large re-engineered laser, helping it ignore special armor types. Finally, unlike its predecessor the 5D, it has no heat problem as it has double heat sinks. Overall, this is the most advanced version of the Enforcer to date, the most durable with ferrofibrous armor, and the most capable of delivering devastating levels of damage. It is the ultimate trooper. The Enforcer is sometimes overlooked as a vehicle outside of the Succession Wars. The truth of the matter is, however, that it has always been persistent, marching into war at the behest of the Federated Sons, and later, to a lesser extent, the Lyran Commonwealth. Mass-producible, relatively simple, able to operate in multiple roles for combat units, including urban warfare, and heavily armored at the front, the Enforcer lives up to its name, enforcing the political and military aims of the Federated Sons particularly. It's a dedicated, loyal soldier, which is all the Sons need it to be. Thank you for joining me here today. If you enjoyed this content, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. There's a YouTube member program as well to support this channel, and I genuinely appreciate all of the support that you guys offer me. With that, I will catch you guys in the comment section below.